Video games have been around for quite a long time, but today's subject is going to be about the importance of representation of women in video games. I am going to start with the character Lara Croft. But what makes a great character for themselves for Lara, it's her character design and development. But before I talk about her development, I'm going to give you a quick rundown on who Lara Croft is. She's a highly athletic and intelligent archaeologist who journeys across the world in search for artifacts and tombs and to stop the paramilitary organization Trinity from getting their hands on special artifacts, which is a main objective in Rise of the Tomb Raider and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. In the first game, she is a scared woman who becomes a victim that uses her skills and knowledge to traverse the island of Yamada. She barely escapes death 4 times before she is finally reunited with her associates. Gaining trauma while on the island, she nearly gets assaulted, her father figure Roth being killed right in front of her, religious zealots that are trying to sacrifice her friends and willing to kill her. However, at the end of the game, we can see she has become a hardened survivor and has mastered the bow and arrow, and no longer feeling as guilty for killing all those men. Her actions were self-defense that needed to protect her friends and save her best friend Sam. Discovering the organization Trinity, she knows she cannot allow them to find artifacts and legends like Yamada. In the next 2 games, it continues to show Lara Croft's development. In Rise of the Tomb Raider, she is desperate to show her father's works. In the 3rd and final game called Shadow of the Tomb Raider, she dedicates herself to stop Trinity. She's fighting her trauma, survival's guilt, and the consequences to her actions. Her narrative heavily focuses on Lara as she is slowly falling further into her mental spiral. But at the end of the game, she realizes that her role is to not solve the world's mysteries, but to protect them. This shows her growth and development as a person from a sensational pistol-wielding sex symbol to a figure of female empowerment, as it has been stated from Lara Croft and gaming, feminism in a hyper-masculine industry. She has been removed from her sexualized design and has been made realistic. She has her moments of weakness and power. She's a flawed character whose story was developed amazingly. She is impressive as she wields a bow, uses the environment around her to her advantage. She uses her knives as weapons as well as her climbing axes. She is versatile and creative. Moving on to another character from a different game is Xiaojun from Assassin's Creed Chronicles China. While she's not as well known as Cassandra, but her character is well worth the mention. The concubine-made assassin goes down on a path of revenge. Her entire brotherhood had been killed, so she hunted down all those who were responsible behind it, therefore restoring the Chinese Assassin's Brotherhood and becoming their mentor. She is a strong and independent character who uses her skills and intelligence to track down each member of the Tigers. She went down on a path to avenge the Brotherhood, and this time it didn't cost her everything, which I enjoy, because I have seen many films and video games where revenge is pointless and will cost the characters everything they have. However, for this story it worked as the Templars were originally controlling the entire country of China, so by killing them, her country can thrive once again and a new nation would develop. While she is flawed as she doesn't show much emotion except for stoicism and the rare softness when she reunites with an associate, she doesn't feel human in the traditional sense. In my opinion, she has that type of personality of a male main character before they became realistic. Which is nothing wrong with it, but the story itself is not really interesting besides hunting down the 8 tigers and being an assassin. Moving on to the depiction of suffering in video games, I have chosen the famous male character from the game called Doom. This guy doesn't have a name. He is a stoic character that is the protagonist of the game, who has a tragic backstory before he became the space marine we all know him for today. In the 7th game of the series called Doom Eternal, he barely ever speaks, but that is deliberate, as it is for the players to further immerse themselves within the game. His past is barely ever talked about, and his suffering is truly never shown, as he is so masculine to the point the only way he can communicate is through silence, gestures, and finally, rage. However, This was before male characters became all soft in video games, as it has been brought up on the website Vice. The title is called "This is Why Male Video Game Characters Suddenly Got All Soft." It criticizes how men like Doomguy have been created to be in their video games in a harmful way that it seems like a cliche and reduces them to the point it dehumanizes them to not be an emasculated figure. Let's see what happens when a female character gets reduced to the role of fan service or gets a stereotypical role. An amazing example is Lydia from Devil May Cry 5. In the third game of this franchise, she has played a critical role as she was seeking revenge against her cruel father and helped Dante, who is the main character, to progress his adventure. However, in Devil May Cry 5, she gets reduced to a minor role and gains the fan service treatment. The fans were very unhappy about this treatment, as while it is understandable because the fifth game is continuing the Sparta story, it is still not fair to Lydia. Another character that has been given the role of damsel in distress is Ashley from Resident Evil 4. A heavy number of players hated Ashley and her part of the remake. This was due to her being weak and constantly yelling, "Leon, help me, help!" Leon! However, there has been a change, as on a website, Level Up Talk made a post that was called "Ashley's role in Resident Evil 4 sparks new debate, players mix on her reception." That players are beginning to reconsider her usefulness and character in the game, which is progressive and shows how they don't like her role, but they also enjoy how the game uses her to make the players debate how they play. A character that is opposite to Ashley is Sadie Adler from Red Dead Redemption 2. Her story is one of the most realistic and well written for a female character, and how she changed the gaming space that is such an important figure to the game. It truly shows why female representation matters, as it created a ripple in the gaming community. It is stated on a website called WordPress.com, Not Your Damsel, how Red Dead Redemption 2 Outlaw Sadie Adler challenges female representation in the western frontier of gaming. That it also describes how even though it had weirdly affected Western traditions, then it became a significant advancement to female empowerment within the gaming. It had shown to a community that has a deep understanding on media literacy, why it matters to have a well-written character in the game, and brought more gamers to appreciate and understand why Sadie Adler is so popular. Finally, why I think it is important to include good female representation in the industry. It is because women have always been in the community but have been ignored or brushed aside. The writer Dayna Pilger on the Smithsonian Center for Folklife and Cultural Heritage website brought this up amazingly by saying, "Women have always been there, and by referencing Dr. Kishona Gray, I think we have to advocate for ourselves to be visible in those spaces. We have to let them know, no, we've always been here, we've always been gamers, but y'all ignored us." This also raises the question now that women are taking an interest in this hobby. Percentages are starting to increase of female gamers in the community. Will the gaming industry be able to keep up with the rise? I would argue it can be a yes and a no, because it truly depends on the industry and the writers who create all the different characters. A great article had been made on the website Forbes called "Female Gamers Are on the Rise. Can the Gaming Industry Keep Up?" It discusses the issues of gender stereotypes that continue to prevail in video games, and it is harmful to both genders. However, it is mostly women because men are written to be powerful and firm, while women are weak and emotional.